Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, the place where we discuss all things USMNT y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian. I'm joined once again by my co-host and Tocayo, Adrian. Adrian, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, dude, I'm doing just all right. Coming back from that Liga MX quarterfinals, crazy weekend. It was actually fun, with the exception of one game, but I'm ready to talk.
Yeah, I think the one game that we predicted that was going to probably be the closest and funnest one was the one that was kind of just a wash and a dull matchup. But we'll get into it. Yeah, man, like you mentioned, this episode we're going to be discussing the Liga MX Clausura 2023, the semifinals, kind of giving our preview as to what to expect, who to watch for, and kind of discussing the four matches, 8 games that we saw in the quarterfinals. You know, how did we get to the point where we are with these two clásicos in the semifinals? How did the teams do in the quarterfinals? Let's just go right into it, man. Starting off, what can we expect in the semifinals? Who advanced from the quarterfinals? What matchups do we got here?
So actually, this is I don't know how many times this has happened in the history of Liga MX. I'm not gonna say this is. I'm not gonna commit to say this is the first time because I'm not too sure if that's true. But we have two clásicos happening on semifinales with Liga MX. We have a clásicoregio between Monterrey and Tigres, and then a clásico nacional between America and Chivas. So this is actually really good matches. I don't know if Liga MX and Doña Fede were expecting to have these two semifinal matches at all. Um, but regardless, I think we're gonna see some fireworks going around in Monterrey and Ciudad de Mexico.
Yeah, dude, imagine how much money they're going to be making during the semifinals. This is like their
I know,
dream
dude.
matches, like for La
Dude, all,
Federación.
all, all meat markets and carnicerias in Monterrey are gonna be popping
Yeah,
for sure.
just gonna be empty. So, how many cows are gonna die this weekend for this? And cabritos.
Not enough.
Um,
Not
but
enough.
yeah, man, two crazy matches we have in store here. What can you tell us about these four teams that advanced to semifinal? How did they do in their the quarterfinal matches?
As we said on this episode's introduction, I mean, four of the all quarter, well, not all quarter, but three out of the four matches in the quarterfinals were actually quite interesting and entertaining. They were fun to watch. The one that I think was kind of a deception was Monterrey against Llantos. I think it was closer than we anticipated to be. I personally felt that Monterrey would have just completely destroyed Llantos at this point in time, but Llantos proved that while Monterrey is one of the most balanced teams, or perhaps the most balanced team in Liga MX right now, they are still vulnerable and they're not invincible. Um, Monterrey won by the minimum, which is a 2-1 at El Estadio de Acero Campeonatos. Um, and I just, it goes to show that you can be the best throughout regular season. And if you just have one mistake, you can feel the pressure on, and it will be very difficult for you to shake it off. So that's how
Monterrey
Monterrey arrives to the.
won 2-0, no? They won
I
two
thought they
zero at
won
home.
2-1. They won two
No,
zero at home.
it was
Okay,
2-0. Yeah.
then I guess they're probably. Oh, you know what? They disallowed the
Lo
goal.
anularon. Ajá.
It was
Yeah.
a yes. That's right. You're right. You're right. So then it's a robo at el Estadio de Cero Campeonatos.
Yeah.
But no, it just goes to show that they flaunt all this they flex their offensive power week in and week out, and they couldn't score more than 2 goals against Llantos, and it was very difficult for them to break that seal. So
Yeah, but as
yeah.
we predicted in the preview, Llantos always gives Monterrey and Tigres trouble in the liguilla.
Hmm.
And you
Yeah.
say they flexed their attacking muscle all season, but when it came down to it, they had to flex their defensive muscle, and they had two clean sheets. So they still didn't let a goal in, and they scored what they needed to score. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't the prettiest of wins, but here they are in the semifinals after accumulating 40 points in the regular season, and what better matchup than Tigres, man? How did Tigres do to get to this point?
Dude, you should have seen me yesterday watching that freaking match, dude. I was, needless to say, my heart was racing and I was just, going crazy because, man, I saw the the light at the end of the tunnel. I was ready to rage on social media and with on WhatsApp and with my friends. Say like, you know what, screw this. I want Andre Pierre out. Blah blah blah. But they made it. I mean, they had they probably had the best match throughout that they had so far in the season. On the first leg of this quarterfinal against Toluca,
Mhm.
they they were able to fight back after the first 10 minutes that Toluca was very intense and they scored the first goal. But Tigres showed character and they came back. They won 4-1. And that proved to be pretty much plenty for them to be in the semifinals because on the second leg, they were a disaster for like at least 60 minutes. I mean, and then it doesn't say that Toluca was uh, essentially all over Tigres and shooting as every single 5 minutes to the goal. It just goes to show that Tigres was having a hard time keeping long possessions. Tigres was having a hard time trying to move into a defensive drive into offensive drives. It was difficult for them to find that combination and associations on the wings. They forgot that they also could play through the middle, and they based a lot of their attacking options through the wings. Luckily, uh, Tigres now has realized that they don't have to count on Andre Perginac to be the savior of every single match. They have players like Diego Lainez, who oddly enough is stepping up on the last few matches against Puebla and both games against Toluca. He had actually decent matches. Uh,
Mhm.
Sebastian Cordova, the inventor of Football 6,
Yeah.
he's coming in clutch, man. I
Handsomest man in
mean,
the world.
exactly. He's coming in clutch, and I cannot complain. I mean, there's nothing that I'm gonna say bad about Sebastian Cordova because he's essentially just carrying the team and trying to take that leadership role that we're missing.
Yeah, after Toluca's first game or first goal in the second match, at that point it was pretty even parejo match. Both teams were splitting possession and had their chances, and I think actually Tigres was playing better at that point in the match. Diego Lainez, like you said, was doing a great job down that right wing. He was cutting. Who's that left back that Toluca has? He could not handle Diego Lainez at all. Um, can't recall his name, but it's just that one goal. I wouldn't say it was a fluke goal, but it was kind of a.
No,
It just went over. What's his name? Este
Nahuel.
Nahuel Guzman, yeah, and had he been better positioned, I think it would have been an easy save. But it was a weird goal, a slow goal that may have kind of took in the air out of Tigres and kind of caused the 3-0, the next two goals to come along. I too was like you, man. I was getting ready to just turn that thing off. And I luckily I kept it on for that one, that pass from Andre Pierre Guignac. And it was a goal. A goal's a goal. Not the prettiest of goals, but it worked. But
Hmm.
yeah, here we are. We're going to have a clásicoregio, and I'm very excited for that, even though we'll get to our predictions later. So on the other side of the bracket, Clásico Nacional, how did America and Chivas fare? How did they get to this point, man?
Look, America had a walk on the park on the first leg of its quarterfinal match, but then when they came back to Ciudad de Mexico to play the second match, uh, they struggled badly, man. I mean, they lost what 3-1 in
2-1.
or no 2-1 2-1,
Yeah.
right? They lost 2-1 against San Luis. I mean, I think no one expected San Luis to to go out there and just put up a show, man.
Yeah.
For once I wasn't expecting San Luis to react this way. And it just goes to show how crazy Liga MX can be sometimes. I feel that America felt very confident that they had the match so controlled that they just need to do the bare minimum to make things happen. And it also portrayed that I think a lot of Liga MX fans and people in general around Liga MX feel that America is a very well balanced, well oiled machine that Tan Ortiz is moving forward. But I just feel that this goes to show that they are not as strong defensively as people think they are. I don't recall, exactly what's their position defensively speaking on the standings in Liga MX, but they are not one of the they are definitely at least top 7 or top 8 of the best defenses in Liga MX, which being top 8 doesn't say a lot because it's only 18 teams. uh, but they are not, they definitely score more than the goals they allow, which help them move on this stage. It also goes to show that they lose a lot of power when Henry Martin is not there. It's
Hmm.
we always want to say and flaunt that America has a good roster depth, but I think in that specific area they are very Henry Martin dependent.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Chivas deals with him, and if they're able to close him down. What options does America go to? Because they are just a get it to Martin and pray, I guess, which has been working.
I
Um,
know.
so on the other side, the Clásico Tapatío, Chivas ultimately was losing 1-0 after the first leg. How did they turn it around?
Actually, those two matches were very, very exciting, very interesting to watch. I think both of them were high intensity. No team was, allowing the other one to essentially uh, flourish in any way. I think, as we predicted, it was a very balanced match. I think both of them counteracted each other in a lot of ways, and it was up to Atlas to just have that flawless execution of their classic play, which is going from Camilo Vargas to Fulio Furch, who then lays the ball to Luis Quinones, sorry, Julian Quinones, and he just puts it in the net. That helped them go through the first what's it called, the first leg of these quarterfinals. But I think Chivas wasn't. I think Chivas put a very strong, good display of game at El Jalisco on that first leg. So I think it was a little unfair to not have Chivas tied, although they missed a penalty shootout on the second leg. Though definitely Chivas played a better match than Atlas, but it was still very close, very interesting, very high caliber reactions. I think the effort paid off to Chivas, but this reminds everyone that Chivas has very low they don't have a very strong caliber striker in the roster, and they depend a lot on what their attacking midfielders do to carry on the offensive drives. Unfortunately, they don't have a strong striker, and I don't think they will for the for the rest of the matches that come up. I don't think you know the current strikers that they have will step up to the challenge. Um, but they, one thing that I feel that not every single there's only maybe two teams in Liga MX that actually have this trait, and one of them is Chivas. They know how to play as a unit. They know how to play as a team, and they cater to each other's strengths, right? So I think that's what helped Chivas move on this specific stage.
Yeah, and I mean, it obviously helped that they were in a higher seed than Atlas in the Tabla General,
Hmm.
having won
Yeah.
by la mínima diferencia 1-0 in the second leg. It was 1-1 ultimately, aggregate global score, and they were able to advance because being at a higher seed team. So these two semifinals, Adrian, the first one being on Wednesday is going to be in El Estadio Volcán, the Tigres. So Tigres
Hmm.
playing home away or home first, and then we'll be playing away to Rayados in the second leg. And the second match is going to be on Thursday, where America will be playing in Guadalajara, the first match, and then for the
Hmm.
second leg will be in Estadio Azteca. How important are these home matches, to take care of business initially for Tigres and Chivas here?
So I think Tigres and Chivas during the quarterfinal, final legs, the second one specifically, for Tigres the first one and for Chivas the second one. I think it proved that if you do your homework at home, it will carry you on to the next stage. So if Chivas and Tigres are able to win the match by a significant difference and are able to hold on the second leg, they can definitely match up in the final. I think this will be their one shot to make things happen because, I don't think Chivas has a bad record playing outside of Guadalajara, but they did lose a Clásico Nacional this season against America, and in what was a very poor display of uh, of Chivas in that specific match. And Tigres, they lost 1-0 at El Volcán against Monterrey in a match that was very close, and Monterrey, true to their style, they parked the bus and just scored one goal and took it home. So I think it will be the if Chivas or Tigres they're unable to take advantage on that first leg, they're in very serious trouble because I see El Estadio Azteca and El Gigante Acero as a very very difficult stronghold for uh, you know uh, the opposition or the visitors to carry on and unlock that seal.
Yeah, good points. Going to be interesting to see if they could take care of business in the first leg. Adrian, man, prediction time. What do we got here? I don't think our predictions have been as great as. Well, to be fair, I think my predictions have
No.
been a little bit better than yours.
Yes, totally, dude.
You've been kind
Totally.
of off your rocker there for a little bit, but
I know.
Monterrey Tigres, man. What are you thinking here?
I am not holding my breath for Tigres. They, sorry, I just gotta. I'm just gotta lay it out as it is, as I see it. I as much as I want them to move on to the next stage and defeat Monterrey, and I will be delighted and ecstatic if they do it at Monterrey's house. I see this as a very close match. I don't see any of these teams they're going to be so focused that they will try not to make any mistakes whatsoever because they know that the opposition will capitalize on them. I think Monterrey will take it home. I feel that Monterrey will win it 1-0 del Volcán with a counterattack and then just take it home al El Gigante de Acero by just parking the bus and hanging players from the post to block all or whatever many shots on target Tigres makes.
Yeah, I think both of us had Tigres going out to Toluca, so being here is something we didn't really expect. I'm with you.
Hmm.
I had Monterrey winning in El Volcán 1-0, but I had it 2-2 in El Gigante de Acero.
Wow.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a more open game. Tigres going to have to go for it like crazy, and they may be score early. And Monterrey equalizes, and it's just going to be back and forth there. But with that 1-0 win at Volcan, Monterrey is going to have that narrow advantage. Just like the game this season between them, it's going to be two really tight matches. I feel, and
Yeah.
it's just going to be decided by possibly, like you said, a counterattack. Um, so for El Clásico Nacional, what are you thinking here, America or Chivas?
I personally think that this is a time for Chivas to move on and play a final. I think they've been doing everything right throughout the season for Chivas. Right, I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't support them in any way, but I do like what they're trying to do out. They brought someone different to Liga MX. They have proven that it can work. I think it's time for them to show that their investment is paying off. I think that they will take it home just because of that specific reason that I gave previously, which is they know how to play as a unit. They know how to, collectively cater to each other's strengths, which is something that I don't think America has settled or has managed throughout the entire season. They're very strong from the midfield and above. They're not so strong from the midfield to the back, and I think Chivas will capitalize on that. I also see this to be a very tight match, but I think the first leg will go 1-1, and the second leg Chivas will take it 1-0.
Okay, so you think they will have a way to kind of control Henry Martin and deal
I
with him?
think so. I mean, Henry Martin. I hope he comes back. I hope he, gets out of that rut, or that he's able to be 100% ready for this semifinal match. But I think El Chiquete, has had a very decent display, and I think he's gonna be able to contain Henry Martin. I think so.
Okay, cool, man. We'll see how we fare for these predictions. Two exciting, very exciting matches in the
I
semifinals that
know.
Liga MX is giving us here. So excited to see that Wednesday and Thursday, and then this weekend. Adrian, as we wrap up here, man, where can our listeners find us, dude?
You can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts on. And lastly, but not least, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Puro Pinche Gol. We post stuff every now and then.
Cool. Yeah, make sure to follow us and let us know in the comments down below. Is your team still alive in Liga MX Clausura? Who do you guys got winning between these two clásicos? Are you guys excited? If your team isn't alive still, are y'all excited to see two clásicos here in the semifinals? We're definitely excited. So we like to talk to you guys there in the comments and let us know y'all's opinions for sure. Adrian, another fun one with you, brother. I'll see you in the next one, man.
Take it easy, my brother. See ya.
See you, man.